Hey everybody, I know that if you're thinking about moving to a new city, or in fact if you even live in a city that you haven't been in a long time, well heck for us, we've been here for 16 years and we're still discovering things. And so what I wanted to do today was to get together with my good friend Tom here. Tom, say hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
And I wanted to introduce you to one of the coolest kept secrets in Tucson. So what do you think, Tom? Should we get after it? Let's get after it right now. Hello everybody, I am Paul Dunn. I'm a local real estate guy here with eXp Realty, and this is...
My name's Tom Heath, and I'm with the Mortgage Guidance Group at Nova Home Loans.
And so what we wanted to do today was get together and show you some of the coolest, best kept little secrets here in downtown Tucson. And where are we going to start?
We're going to start at the Presidio.
So let's get going. So what do we have here, Tom? I see this nondescript door that I didn't know was here. We were on our way to see something really cool. I kept walking, and all of a sudden Tom stopped, and I go, where's Tom? He's by this little red door.
Well, this spot, I know it's a little nondescript, but this spot contains so much history about Tucson. It's just incredible. We could talk about all of these things, but we're going to start with this door. This door leads into the Presidio Museum, and the entire region, or the entire neighborhood in which we are right now, was originally part of the original Presidio that the Spanish built in the late 1700s, like 1775. They were in Tubac and moving north. As they took more territory, they were looking for an outpost to protect that territory. And they enlisted a gentleman by the name of Hugo O'Connor. I know it doesn't sound very Spanish because he was from Dublin, but he was working with the Spanish. They actually called him Hugo O'Connor. And he decided that this was the spot for the Presidio. And so what they did is they built this out, and as we go through this, you'll see like the Pima County Courthouse, a lot of this neighborhood, all the structures around here were at one point part of the Presidio.
Right.
This is a museum showing that history. This is not the actual Presidio, although there are parts of the Presidio available to see in there. But this museum was created a few years ago to preserve that history. And on second Saturdays, they do Living History Days, so you'll see them dressed up in full civilian and military 1776 colonial uniforms.
Don't they fire cannons or something off this thing? That's what I want to see. I want to see the cannons. The heck with the history. Let's just shoot cannons.
They pull the cannon out and they load it up and they fire it off, and they do the whole regiment, the whole procedure with the regiment. Right. They have their muskets, and then they will do musket volleys. And around the holidays, they do a really cool luminary event, and they do it in the evening. And to watch the musket volleys in the evening with just firing up the lights, it's just really.
So what you're saying, if I get you right, is this is a really cool place to come see during the holidays, especially in the evenings, right?
It's a really cool place to come, except for like June and July.
Why is that? It's hot.
Well, they don't do the reenactments because I guess it was easier to wear wool in 1776 in the summer, because they don't do the reenactments in the summer. But it's open most of the week, and it's very inexpensive. They ask for a donation, but if you couldn't afford it, they'd still let you in.
Wow, very cool.
Other things though that are interesting besides that, just the wall here. If you look at this really cool sort of volcanic-looking rock, this was blasted out of a mountain, which Sentinel Peak, and we'll do a whole show in that area at some point, because that's really the birthplace of the region. Right. This is what we consider like the foundation of the European part of Tucson.
That's interesting.
But we have 10,000 plus years of documented history at the base of a mountain in the Santa Cruz River, and in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they blasted a lot of that rock out, and you'll see these walls all over Tucson with this.
Oh, very cool.
And because you're number one,
that's it. Right
you're standing there. That's to recognize wherever you go, that dot follows you because you are number one. But this interesting turquoise line, the museum created a 2.5-mile walking trail.
Right.
And this is spot number one. They give you a brochure, and there's also an app, and it will tell you as you're walking along, 1, 2, 3, all the different spots where you are. So it's outdoors, it's dog friendly, and if you're looking for something to do in Tucson and you want to be outside, safely distanced, this is a great thing to take.
What do they call that? The turquoise trail?
Yeah, it was originally called the Presidio Trail because they created
Presidio
it.
Trail.
But when they went to the city, because the person that came up with the idea, they were in the history walk in Boston, which is a really nice brick trail.
Yeah.
And the city's like, yeah, we're not putting in bricks, but we'll paint you a line. But
the line's cheaper, right?
And all they had was turquoise paint. So they did, yeah, we'll paint you a line. We got this excess turquoise paint.
Turquoise.
And the media picked up on it and says, what's with this turquoise trail all through downtown? And turquoise is a big Southwest gem, so it kind of stuck. And I think the irony is now that the city has to now stock up on turquoise paint every year to redo the line or change it as we have construction.
So our tax dollars are buying turquoise paint.
Absolutely. So we can paint the sidewalk.
Very cool.
That's a cool trail.
So we are now inside the Presidio, and look at this mural. This is really cool. Tom was just explaining to me how it's kind of a visual eyepiece or a visual trickery.
I think so. I mean, because if you look at it, I'm part of the mural.
But what's interesting too is as you walk along, it blends into that corner, so it just makes it look like you've got this whole fort in here. And if you spin around that way, Haley, you can see the cannons up there too. And Tom, I'm assuming those are the cannons that they shoot during the holidays and evenings, right?
I think they have one that they bring out. Those I think are more ceremonial.
Oh, okay.
They do have one they bring out, but I don't think they would store it up there just because of the weight of it. I don't see how they would get it up there. I'm sure it's on the ground level somewhere.
Yeah.
And so we're actually in what would be the northeast corner of the original Presidio. A lot of the walls that you see are actually recreated. They're not the original walls. They did find enough to get the composition of the materials, so these walls are very close to the same composition of the original walls. But we're in the northeast corner, and the Presidio, of course, would have been huge. It would have covered much of what we'll talk about today with the courthouse and a lot of the other buildings in the area. But as they were doing the excavation, they found a pit home that predates the Presidio. A pit home, yeah. So we can go.
Can you do a mortgage on this?
If I can find comps. They actually have a blacksmith. And you can see he's starting the forge right now.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And they, if you talk to them here, he'll make things for, if they need nails or hooks or things like that. They will actually make them at the blacksmith station right there.
Oh, very cool.
If you walk this way a little bit, I know it's hard to see. We'll set up the cannon and they shoot it right down this alley at La Cocina, which I guess they don't like La Cocina or something because they fire it off every second Saturday. They have the soldiers set up. Oh, there's the cannon over there that they fired. There it is. Right next to the cows.
Oh, by the cows. Okay, I should have known that would be by the cows.
And then you can see the pit house.
And they would bend them over, and they would put a roof on top of it. Now, that roof would protect them. But again, what you want to realize is this is a family of 4 that would have lived here, and they only probably would have been in here in the winter for protection from the weather. All right? So what we have in the center, see where it says hearth, H-E-A-R-T-H, that's where they would have built their fire, and that would have helped to keep the rocks warm, and it also was a place where they could cook.
So Tom, I recognize this place. One day, Darcy and I were driving by and we saw this place that looked really cool. We thought, let's stop, let's go in and see if they have food. And we stopped, and I got a great burrito too, by the way. I don't even know what this place is called, but I had a great burrito. And we saw live music here in this little place that was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you talk about a hidden gem, we're like in an oasis, and we're in the Presidio neighborhood, and it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in the downtown area. The Presidio's really what started Tucson in the 1700s, and the area where we are now used to be the stables for the Presidio.
Stables?
The stables.
For like the horses and stuff?
The horses. Oh, they cleaned it up. It's good. They passed all their health code and everything. But they've done a really nice job with the space, and they've done it. There's a restaurant called Laco, which is where you ate, and it's mostly outdoor seating. They've got a really nice pond with some turtles in the middle of that. There's a bar called Tall Boys, which was moved over from 4th Avenue during COVID, and it's all part of the same family. Joe Schneider, She is sort of the matriarch, and a lot of people that work in restaurants here in Tucson have come through her places because she's owned a few and taught a lot. But also in this spot, there's great food. They have music, brunch, and evening. But we also have to my left here the Old Town Artisans, and you can access it from the restaurant, or you can access it from the street on the other side. And there are about 12 to 15 local artists that have their shop in there, and they sell everything from very attractive artwork to functional household items and a variety of different things that are just fun. I mean, this is one of the pieces right here, this donkey and this cart, made by a local artist. So a great place to come down if you're exploring downtown. Come down for brunch, have a snack, maybe a drink, do a little shopping, walk the neighborhood. You can
Catch some music too.
You can be here all day and not even leave this walk.
This is cool. So Tom's told me the story about this place, this restaurant, quite a few times, but I can't quite tell it the way that Tom can because it is so really cool and important for Tucson.
I love this story about Tucson because of it's sort of perseverance, there's controversy, all kinds of good stuff here.
Right.
But this restaurant, El Charo, is the longest continuously owned family Mexican restaurant in the United States. It was started by a woman named Monica Flynn, and her father came to the United States from France. So yes, France.
So
Mexico
the Mexican restaurant, France?
French heritage. She did spend time in Mexico and learned quite a bit about the cuisine. But her father was a stonemason, and he was brought to Tucson to help build the cathedral, well, the church at the time.
Right.
And he built this house. This was actually their home. You see the stonework here. This would have been his handiwork. The restaurant started in 1922, but about a mile south of here. During urban revitalization in the 60s, in late 60s and early 70s, they tore down a lot of that neighborhood, and the restaurant had to move. So they came to this location and have been here since the 70s. And Monica Flynn, who started this, think about a female entrepreneur in the 1920s trying to run a restaurant. She faced a lot of challenges and obstacles, and she ran it for 50 years. And then in the 70s, the current owner, which is her niece, Carlota, took over. So for 2 generations, we've had 2 women with 50-year reigns, making this a fantastic establishment here in Tucson.
Wow.
And they're known for their carne seca, which is a really dry beef, and they have a cage out back where they raise it up and they dry it in the sun.
That's the blue thing that we saw hanging up above the restaurant.
Covered with a tarp right now.
Oh, nice.
It's a very really well done traditional recipe, and the current family owners are descendants of the original. And they've just really exploded in Tucson's culinary scene. The Flores family has done quite a bit. There's a lot of restaurants in Tucson that have come from this, and they put their own unique stamp on it.
So they kind of opened the door for just a lot of stuff. Say a woman's owning the restaurants or starting businesses, and really the Mexican restaurants here in Tucson, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things started here that are not just in Tucson but across the country. In fact, the Monica Flynn is known to have created the chimichanga. Accidentally, but the story goes that she was cooking ground beef.
So the chimichanga, that crunchy thing that we all love, is from Tucson. I love that. That's cool.
It's a burrito that has been around for years. But she was cooking some ground beef, and a burrito accidentally fell into the pan and splashed grease everywhere. And she had grandkids around. She didn't want to say anything that was
Schmidt.
She didn't want to say Schmidt, so she said chimichanga, which is like thingamajig.
Yeah.
And then they tried this fried creation, like, oh my gosh, this is really good. And the story is true because it's on their menu. And if you can't trust a menu, what can you trust?
I love it. So I got to tell you what, man, I am getting hungry. Should we go in and get a bite to eat? Well, I don't think they're open yet, though, are they? But anyway, thanks, Tom. This has been an absolutely fabulous tour, and I love this stuff. I love this. So where should we head off to next? I don't know, me neither. So I don't know where we are right now. This is someplace I've never been in Tucson. Number 2 on the list of places I've never been here in Tucson. Tom, what is this? Why is it cool?
I don't know where we are either. I'm a little lost right now. No, we are in the 1922 Pima County Courthouse. It no longer serves for the county administrative functions, but they've restored it into, bring it back to a lot of the original historic status. But inside of here, it's really becomes a collection of opportunities for visitors and tourists to learn about Tucson. We have our Visit Tucson, which is our Visitors and Conventions Bureau. We also have the Southern Arizona Heritage Museum, which is a chronological story of Tucson going back 10,000 years, with a lot of cool interactive exhibits and a little gift shop. And probably the crown jewel of what is in here is the Gem and Mineral Museum. It moved over from the University of Arizona, and as you know, Tucson has a really big influence on the gem and mineral position in the world, and this is getting a lot of attention from around the country and in many other places. And then in the back of this, which we'll take a look at in just a few minutes, is the January 8th Memorial, which is a very touching tribute to democracy.
Very cool. Hey, thanks, Tom. This is awesome. I just love the architecture here. It is so cool, so Southwest, so Tucson, right? This is cool.
1922, and the tiled dome. The tiles up there, they actually stopped manufacturing them, so the county had to buy a bunch of those and store them just in case they had to do any repairs.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I haven't been up there, but I hear there's if you can manage the death-defying staircase, you can get up into the dome.
Oh, really? I think let's go ahead and just climb up there. Let's try our Spider-Man just came out. We should try our Spidey skills and get up there, right?
You go first, and I'll
All right. Let's see what we have next on our list, right?
So where we are now is at the back of the Pima County Courthouse. So in this general area is all of our government buildings with the federal, state, local municipalities. This, up until about 4 or 5 years ago, served as the county's office space. But they moved out and they've renovated it. It's a building from 1922, and it's absolutely phenomenal. We're on the back side of it right now, and this is the January 8th Memorial. And this was built to recognize those that lost their life or were injured in a shooting we had in Tucson with one of our congresswomen. And this space is a celebration of democracy. She was doing something called Congress on Your Corner when the incident happened. And this recreation here, this creation here is to memorialize this. And as we go through, you'll see a lot of these little parks and paths cut out, and they're each dedicated to one of the individuals that lost their life. Currently it's underway to get national recognition, so it's working through Congress, and this could be like a national park as well as a local place.
Oh, this is really cool. So they've got like a little water fountain here.
Yeah, reflecting pool. I think
reflecting pool. That's very cool.
I call that, and really creative designs. And it's open, as you can see. It's just open to the public. They do shut it sometimes, but for the most part, during the day, you can get in here and walk all around. And the paths are again just a little place to get a moment to reflect.
That was very cool. Hey, thanks for introducing this to me, Tom. I never knew this was here. And like I say, we've been down here for 16 years. Well, hey, thanks for showing me something I didn't know about.
Absolutely.
We're going to go find something new now too, right?
There's a few more things that we might discover along the way.
Awesome.
So I think a lot of people know the history of John Dillinger. He was a very violent man. His gang was in Tucson in January of like 1934, I believe. And due to a fire at a hotel, they were identified and subsequently captured over the next few days. Inside the Pima County Courthouse, they have the hearing room where he was arraigned, and it's been restored back to that time frame because it's no longer a courthouse. So they've done the historical recreation of what that looked like. But I find the interesting fact is that one of the other people arraigned in courthouse number 1, who appeared here, was Johnny Depp. He was arrested in Tucson and brought in for speeding.
Now that's interesting.
And he went on later to play John Dillinger. So in the 90s, Johnny Depp was organically in the same place where John Dillinger was, and perhaps this was the inspiration for him to take on that role in the movie.
So I told you that you were going to get facts and things and really cool stuff about Tucson that you never knew about. I never knew that.
Oh,
very cool.
You wanted facts.
Oh.
I thought we were talking really good stories.
Oh, stories are good too.
Yeah, so now these are documented facts. I think Clark Gable was also in this historic courthouse.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so we're famous for arresting famous people.
Nice, gotta love it. Well, let's see who else we can go bust right now.
So this is the original letter that gave Wyatt Earp his appointment as a deputy. You know, Tucson and Tombstone in this general area. Tombstone's not too far away from here. You know, we all know about the OK Corral and the shootout. There was a lot of controversy as to who was the law and order. And if you read through the history of it, it's sort of history repeating itself, because they said that the sheriff was elected, but there were a lot of people that casted ballots that shouldn't have, including dogs, donkeys, and poultry. So there was some question as to who the legitimate sheriff was, and that's why at the OK Corral you have two sets of kind of law and order represented there. But it's just kind of neat to see the actual handwritten appointment of Wyatt Earp.
So thanks for checking out today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I know that I've enjoyed hanging out with Tom and Haley and Darcy and going around Tucson and kind of learning about some of these top secret places that I knew nothing about. And for one, I've never been inside the Presidio. That was really cool. And I can't wait to go to El Charo to get some grub. I am freaking hungry right now. And by the way, if this is your first time on the channel, please hit that subscribe button below and you'll be among the first that gets notified anytime we do put together a new video, and we're going to start doing these fairly often. And by the way, if you're thinking of relocating to Tucson or looking to buy a home or sell a home, let me be your boots on the ground. I'd love to help you out. Just shoot me off a text, give me a call, direct message, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, I don't care. Just reach out to me, be more than happy to help you. And by the way, if you're thinking about getting a mortgage in Tucson or anywhere in Arizona, this is your guy right here. His name is Tom Heath. Tom, where can they find you?
Well, the website is the MG Group Tucson, MG Group Tucson. I also invite you to check out the Life Along the Streetcar.org. That's a website dedicated to a podcast, not as cool as the videos, but it's a podcast. We talk a lot about what's happening in the downtown core. And if you're looking for a reason to come to Tucson, I think this is a critical one. This is Paul's winter jacket. And you can see it's frayed right here because he never has to actually wear it. Because today it happens to be a little chilly, but this is as cold as it gets. So you definitely want to be in Tucson.
Ain't that the truth, brother? So again, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next video.